streaming right now. Everyone is. Okay. Wait a second. Great start stream. Wait, so I'm unmuting in a few seconds. Well, okay. 3, 2, 1, and go.
G'day, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the EveryWei podcast. My name is EveryWei. With me, as always, is Yulwei and Vinnie. And we have a lot of VCS things to talk to you about tonight. Should be a good one. How are you tonight, lads? Vinnie, how have you been?
Yeah, not bad. Been just hanging out. Just haven't waiting for things to happen on the VCS end. Been watching LPL. Been watching 𝘀𝘀 a little bit.
LCS?
Pretending LCS doesn't exist. No.
LCS has been alright.
𝘀𝘀, he left G2 and then just died. I'm afraid.
Yeah, certainly.
Nothing happened.
He's just outclassed by North American players. He's just not up to the standard.
Please.
What North American players? I think you mean OCE players.
yeah. Yulwei, how have you been?
Trying to fix my sleep schedule, but it's been really hard with LCS starting at 0 or like 12 p.m.
Just don't watch it. It's on at a great time for me, and I don't watch it.
I wanted to see the 𝘀𝗀𝗃 debut, and then I stayed up to 3:30.
Did you really want to see the 𝘀𝗀𝗃 debut?
Yeah.
Do you regret that?
Unfortunate. Yes, I do.
Well, let's talk about a league that is actually fun to watch, the VCS, because we kick off pretty soon. It's next week, isn't it?
Not even 7 days
Yep.
anymore. Only.
I know, it's exciting.
Yeah. 5
days until the VCS begins. 6? Whatever.
If you can't today. Whatever.
Well, it's very late here, so
Today's almost over for me.
exactly. So whatever. It starts on Friday. That's the important. And we want to set some expectations for the teams because we talked about the players in our last podcast episode nearly 2 weeks ago. We sort of went through the players who we're excited for and that, but we said that we were saving the teams until a little bit closer to the start date. And that day is today.
Let's go.
We'll be going through our expectations and that. Yulwei, do we want to get straight into it and we'll throw up our power rankings and then we'll have an argument over them?
Here we go. Beautiful graphic, courtesy of Vinnie, of course. Thank you very much.
Right. So, as a play-by-play caster,
I'm not the next guy. He put.
you made that graphic though, didn't you? I thought you made that one.
Yeah, I did. But I'm not the number one, so it's not an of course.
Okay.
I'm just getting pedantic. Leave me alone.
So, as we can see, the average rankings that we have are over there on the left. That's the average between the three of us. We have the average is 𝘀𝑠pecies, 𝘀𝗀𝗃, Team Secret, Flash, Cerberus, 𝘁𝗀𝗃, BTS, 𝘁𝗲𝗃. How do you guys want to sort of categorize these teams? Because in my opinion, there are 3 packs in the ladder.
Oh, yeah, that's actually a good call. I think so too. So we have 3 bottom teams, 3 top teams, and 2 middle of the pack teams.
That's my thoughts, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a bit the gap between the top 3 and the middle 2, as you're classifying them, isn't really that big of a stretch. It's probably you can probably still split them apart, but you could just say 5 front runners and then 3 bottom feeders.
Yeah, I do think there is a pretty distinct gap between the top 3. Maybe it's not like a canyon. It's definitely not impossible that things change, but I think, in my opinion, there is a pretty distinct pack. Obviously, all 3 of us have the same teams in that pack, 𝘀𝑠pecies, Secret, and 𝘀𝗀𝗃. But we actually have them in different orders. I'm going to go to you. Well, actually, we kind of wanted to work our way up, didn't we? So we can start doing that. We all have the same bottom 3. 𝘁𝗀𝗃, BTS, and Buffalo. what can we even say about them? 𝘀cie is a bit of an unknown. Maybe they surprise us. But Yulwei, do you have any thoughts on our bottom three?
Well, let's. I mean, bottom teams in VCS have always been a little bit of a headache, because some of them have shown some potential. Some of them were. I even forgot the name of the team. How lucky. The team that always ended up with FTV, of course, yeah. Oh man, FTV times, and then OPG is gone as well. Will 𝘀cie𝗰𝗶𝗹𝘀 be as bad as those two teams?
I don't think so.
I'm a little bit more hopeful for them. I think they have some pieces that can work, maybe. That can maybe show a little bit of promise. I don't think they're aiming for a win. It's a little bit like in LCS, teams like Golden Guardians. I don't think 𝘀cie𝗰𝗶𝗹𝘀 is really looking at winning the title this split or even this year. They're just trying to find new talent. And I'm just going to quickly pull up our roster graphic again so we can see which players joined the team. So as you can see, we have a few new players, and some of them have shown a lot of promise, especially in solo queue. Players like 𝘀cie, the new support player. We have a new jungler over there. So we have some things to look forward to. But
I mean, they've still got 𝘀𝘀 as well. Like, when 𝘀𝘀 is on form, he's an extremely good top laner and can rumble with the bat. The question is just his form. He just can't seem to find the consistency. 𝘀𝘀 as well, I actually think was pretty impressive in the promotion series. Was one of the standout players, but he was also sort of abusing some very broken champions on the patch. But yeah, Vinny, do you have any sort of thoughts on the 𝘀𝘀?
I think if you look at solo queue, you see players that are like, oh, yeah, these guys can make a splash. But we've seen across the world, solo queue does not translate into whatever it is, into competitive. We've seen people like 𝘀cie𝗰𝗶𝗹𝘀 in North America. We've seen like one of the greatest solo queue stars of all time, 𝘀𝘀, says himself he would not be good in competitive.
No. I think something we all agreed on was that these 𝘀𝗰𝗶𝗹𝘀 new players didn't, with the exception of 𝘀𝘀, they didn't look like standouts in the promotion tournament. And if you don't stand out in the promo tournament, you're going to really struggle in the real league. So I think it's...
Yeah, exactly.
If you want to quickly jump to the other promotion tournament team, which of course is 2 places higher for us, because we were a little bit more hopeful.
Yes.
𝘀cie had some standout players over there in the promotion tournament, especially the jungler, 𝘁𝗀, very, very exciting new player. 𝘁, of course, the other jungler, joining them from over from EVOS. They ended in 3rd place, so he's a very, very esteemed jungler. He has played so many games already. And then around them, a lot of veterans. They aren't really the newcomers in terms of just a lot of new talent, apart from 𝘁𝗀. We have seen 𝘁𝑎𝑧 before. We've seen 𝘁𝗰 before. We have seen 𝘁 before. So, a 𝘁𝗰𝗀, of course, as well. So, not a team full of rookies, but still some interesting commodities there, I'd say.
Yeah, for sure. I think the reason I put 𝘀𝑀 where I did in 5th is just I have more hope in them because they were more impressive. I mean, the problem with 𝘁𝗀 is he's probably not going to see that many games because you're going to play 𝘁, which is a shame. I really wish 𝘁 wasn't on 𝘀𝑀 because I want to see 𝘁𝗀 play. But I think I think 𝘀𝑀 has some pretty high ceilings. We just don't know yet.
Yeah, and I mean, 𝘁𝗰 is technically a rookie. He qualified with % last year, but didn't actually see any play. Left the team almost immediately. So we still haven't seen how he will perform in the big leagues, but he's definitely we have an idea of how he's going to play. We've got a bit of footage from him.
Yeah. And
there's no real glaring weakness. Like, you could say 𝘁𝗰's probably not going to be top of the league. You can say 𝘁𝗰𝗀's not going to be top of the league. But they're not like It's not like a Froggy situation. It's not like an Arity situation. It's not a Drakthar. It's not.
Yeah, I don't think they have
someone
I don't
you're
think they
looking
have
at
the
and going,
worst player in any spot. Yeah,
no.
I 100% agree. I mean, that we should talk about the other team we have down the bottom, BTS.
Best logo of the whole.
I'm leaving this podcast
Oh.
if you don't retract that statement. Worst rename
Just a fantastic.
in history. Percent, for those that maybe haven't been following the VCS too close in the off season, Burst the Sky, or BTS, is percent. They renamed and rebranded. One of the worst rebrands I've ever seen. Really upset. Percent was sick. Your logo was great, and you went and killed it. But what do we think of their team? Vinnie, it's got your boy 𝘀cie, but what do you think about what they put around him?
They haven't really done anything. They've put TH in the top lane, who is probably an upgrade to YT, but not like a massive one. It's not like they picked up 𝘂ros or anything. And they still haven't fixed their jungler situation. Apparently, DK is a free agent, so he may be on the way there, which could see an upgrade which could see me bump them up over 𝘀cie. But
yeah, I probably would.
With the roster we know for sure that they have, yeah. Better than Buffalo.
We can't rank them based on rumors, right? Like if DK ends up there, then they're much stronger than I've rated them, because I think Drakthar is a massive weakness, but he's not there yet. So.
I mean, Drakthar was a rookie. He may have gotten much better over the offseason. We do not know. We can't know anything.
So I have to say, I think we are maybe a little bit. We all of us are maybe a little bit low on this team. We have to keep in mind they actually played in playoffs, and they played a pretty close series against Team Secret, if I remember correctly. They have some good, they have some good pieces. 𝘀cie, 𝘀𝘀, 𝘁𝗶𝗹𝗀 are all decent players. TH coming over from the very, very successful EVOS, of course. Playing mid lane there, he's very versatile. He could maybe even go for a few lane swaps with 𝘀cie here and there. So I think the biggest problem with this roster is just it's not very inspiring, right? They have decent players, but no outstanding stars, no big rookie you can get excited for. We know all these players. We know 𝘁𝗀𝗀, we know 𝘀cie, we know 𝘁𝑎, Drakthar, TH. So we might be a little bit too low on them, just thinking about this roster and what they accomplished last split. I think they're still dangerous.
Yeah, I mean, that is the VCS in a nutshell, but I think they're just a team without an X factor. They're a team without any spice. And yeah, maybe we are a little bit low on them, and hell, I love to get proved wrong, and maybe they do, but I don't have too much.
They do have a new coach in 𝘀𝗀, which, I mean, VCS coaches is a meme, but there is a coach now, which they didn't have last year.
True, that could help, for sure, but we'll see. Moving up into our next little pack, I think we're all wanting to talk a little bit about Cerberus Flash. I think these two teams are actually really interesting. Particularly Flash. What happened? Yulwei, what happened?
Well, oh man, Flash was hit most by COVID, right? Because they couldn't get sponsors, because they couldn't get to international competitions. They would have been at 2 international competitions. Slater, Yoshino, all these players, 𝘁𝗏 would have played their first international competition, Ego. Instead, they had to stay home, and now they all broke up. Ego left the team, Slater left the team, 𝘁𝗏 left the team even. So it's a whole new look for Flash. They picked up some interesting new players. I guess I'm going to... I'll have to transition back to this Flash graphic. So the roster is very new, right? We have Yoshino still in the top lane. We have 𝘁𝗏 still in the support position. So 2 very strong players that won the last title, of course. Yoshino the last 3 titles, even though he only played 1 playoffs. And then we picked up Meliodas, 𝘁𝗏, 𝘁𝗏.
Yeah, and I think it's fair to say it's 3 downgrades. I don't think that's controversial.
I agree.
Because
No, probably not.
arguably, Ego, 𝘁𝗃, Slater were top 1 or 2 in their position, and I mean, I'm super high on 𝘁𝘀𝗀𝗎. I actually think 𝘁𝘀𝗀𝗎 is about to have a really good split, but he's not Ego and he's not, Levi or something. So they've kind of downgraded in those
I think
three
𝘁𝘀𝗀𝗎 is closer to a side grade, but it's down.
Yeah, maybe.
Wow, that's very aggressive. Holy.
That's aggressive. Ego had a really
I
good
have my
split.
reasoning.
Okay.
He had
Let's hear it.
very good split, but junglers are very much impacted by their solo laners. 𝘁𝘀𝗎𝗎's looked amazing with Gar, and Ego had some of the best in the league. He's also a rookie. Rookie junglers tend to have an advantage because people aren't used to how they play. 𝘁𝘀𝗎𝗎's very long-standing veteran. That's why it's closer to a side grade. It's still a downgrade because of how well Ego did perform, but it's not nearly as glaring as the other two.
I agree with that. I agree with that last part. I definitely think mid and bot are the more clear downgrades. As I said, I'm high on 𝘁𝘀𝗎𝗎. I think he's going to be really good. But 𝘁𝗃, he's not 𝘁𝗃, and 𝘠𝘀 is not Slater. Yulwei, how does this team come together? Do they have a hope of broaching back into where they were, or is the Flash dynasty dead?
So I'm very low on them, right? I'll quickly change
Yes.
once again. So I'm the only one putting Flash outside of playoffs. I actually put them in 5th place, below
Yeah.
Cerberus. And I am
Actually, playoffs is back to 4?
Yeah. So spring split is back to 4 teams in playoff.
Okay.
So even though we
Then
group
yes.
Cerberus
Yeah.
and Flash together in one, as the 2 middle of the pack teams, it's actually super important to know which of the teams is going to end up in 4th place, right? Because 4th, 5th is the biggest difference in the league. You don't want to end up in 5th place. For me, this Flash roster does not look very good, and I have a few reasons for this. The few reasons for this are I think I'm one of the lowest on Yoshino from our community. I acknowledge that Yoshino has won and has been part of very successful teams and is a pretty well-rounded, good player, but I don't really see him as a carry, especially in the last split. He was playing more the role of Ornn. He just played Ornn almost every game.
A lot of Ornn.
I mean, Ornn is pretty strong right now, but I just don't really see the carry in this team. The 2 standing players are top lane and support, and although Palette, I think, is still the best support player, how much is he going to be able to impact the game if his mid laner is constantly losing to the likes of Dia1, Yado, and of course 𝘁𝗃 as well? Because I'm really low on 𝘁𝗃. I thought 𝘁𝗃 had a horrible split last summer. So of course he can get better and can get back to form, but summer was really bad for 𝘁𝗃. So bad that they had to bench him for 2 top laners and rotate 3 top laners in between top and mid lane because 𝘁𝗃 was just not performing. So
Yeah.
I think the mid lane is a huge question mark. The jungle is, while I agree 𝘁𝘀𝗎𝗎 had a good split on a bad team. Sometimes you can look better on a bad team than you would look on a good team. We have no idea how he's going to integrate into Flash's roster. Where is he going to go? At least on 𝘁𝗀𝗵𝗹𝗀, you knew, okay, I can go to Hasmid, or I can just try to follow Froggy's craziness, and maybe something good happens. If not, who cares? We are the worst team anyway. Now he has to perform. He has to hit his ganks. So I'm really, really scared for this Flash team. I think they might even end up below 𝘀𝑠hi𝗰𝗶, in my opinion. I really don't see where the synergy and where the playstyle is coming from. So maybe a counter question to you, Vinnie. How would you like to see Flash play as a team?
So, if it depends on how these, again, the solo laners turn up. 𝘁𝗃 could have just been the roster swap with Zeros going into the top lane for EVOS and just changing the entire dynamic of the team, because the drop between spring and summer was weirdly massive, and internal dynamics, as we know, EVOS blew up, the entire roster left. So maybe there was something extra to that. I know there's outside reasons can in fact play a lot, but even with that out, even if Parker's just like an average mid laner, I think Yoshino can return to form. He was just his first split back. Probably not going to be as good as he once was, but hopefully a threat you can play around. And if not, DivKid's still DivKid. He's not Slater, sure, but he's DivKid. DivKid is good. And you just send Meliodas. You just send Meliodas bot. You just continue playing what you were as Flash. You play through bot. Your bot's a downgrade, sure. Your mid's a downgrade, sure. But
Huge.
they're not so massive downgrades then. But they're not at so much downgrades that's no longer viable. They're still good players in bot lane at the very least. So that's what you do. You play through bot lane.
So basically, bot lane into team
Meliodas
fight is what you would like to do.
280 carries. Yeah.
Okay.
Probably. That's my very. Yeah.
It's not a terrible strat in season 11 as well.
Yeah, it's true.
I mean, it's pretty strong.
My concern for DivKid would be first he finally has a new lane partner, so it's probably going to take some time to build synergy. Even Slater needed time to build synergy with Palette, and both of them are considered the best in their role, right? So I think the start is going to be rough for Flash, and even if they end up being better than Cerberus at the end of the split, just as a team, I think their credit from the start, or just their disadvantage from a slow start, is going to hurt them and is going to put them at least out of playoffs for spring. So even in the higher estimation for me, even though I'm down on the team, even I can see them gelling and then getting together towards like week 5, week 6 maybe. I still think it's not enough to reach the 4-team playoffs in spring.
I mean, that comes down to how we judge Cerberus, though, and this is sort of the... We can sort of move into talking about Cerberus a little bit, because Cerberus is a team that kind of flies under the radar a little bit. Yeah. They didn't pick up any like big names or like, oh wow, look at that Cerberus pickup. They're sort of just sticking with what they know.
They picked up Ego.
That one's pretty big. That's obviously a big deal. But we have to sort of wonder, because think about Cerberus in the last split. They were ridiculous, looked like the easy favorite, were undefeated until like halfway through the split, and then just shit the bed. There is no other way to put it.
Yeah, the decline was very, very sad to watch.
It wasn't a decline. There was no decline. They fell off a cliff.
Yeah, fair enough.
They went straight to hell.
Yeah. It all started with the one horrible series where they subbed in there. Oh no.
Yeah, it was insane. And
so
I mean, Cerberus is. I don't like Ego's an upgrade. Don't get me wrong, absolutely, but I don't think the team is overall suddenly a world beater.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Even with the Flash team.
I think they are still... So there are a few factors for me that make them better than Flash. First of all, it's pre-existing synergy. So almost all the players are returning players. They know how to play with each other. Ego's the only one stepping in, and he should just be a straight upgrade over 𝘬𝗏. If not, 𝘬𝗏 can play again. 𝘬𝗏's not a bad player either. So you just have a very nice core, and you should go off to a very nice start and win a few series, maybe even get against better teams like SPTC, who still are in their building phase and their synergy finding phase. So that should be an advantage for Cerberus over the likes of Flash.
That's true.
Now then, they have very solid players in every position. You don't really have a weak point. Maybe top lane, but even then, LL can hold his ground against almost anyone. So I think you don't really have an obvious weak point, and the biggest problem with Cerberus last split was just they didn't have a star player, right? They had no one who was able to rally, who was able to group them together after a tough loss and maybe take a little bit more of the responsibility. Now they have Ego, and maybe Ego's just talk.
That player, though?
I mean, he wants to be that player.
Well, I mean, I don't know if he's the kind of player to get around the boys after a tough loss or like rally the troops. He's young, it's his second split. We know he lives up to his name without going into any more detail. We know he's named Ego and good. It's an apt descriptor. I mean, we don't. I mean, I don't know. Maybe he is, but I'm not sure there's any evidence. He may also be the guy that there's a tough loss and he just detonates.
Yeah, that's fair. You never know. But I think their style should be very easy to figure out. I think they're just a very good teamfight team now. We have Artemis, a very solid teamfight ADC. 𝘀𝘀, who can basically play everything. He's very good on assassins, but mages are in his wheelhouse too. And then Ego was the best teamfighting jungler in the league last split at Flash. Maybe it was just the Flash team, but he looked very impressive on teamfighting junglers as well. So I think their style is very easy to figure out. They shouldn't do anything special, just teamfight. And teamfighting has brought VCS teams to Worlds. So I think this team is actually quite exciting to... it's going to be exciting to watch, even though the players aren't maybe the hottest commodities ever.
So, to mirror a question you asked Vinnie, I swear we will get you talking eventually, Vinnie, I promise. Yulwei, if you were to coach Cerberus, would you just front-to-back teamfight every time?
So with the current meta, I think just secure strong bot lane for Artemis or Ronopi. Maybe look for 2v2 kills there. I think they have very strong laney phase. 𝘀𝘀 and Ego, and basically ignore top lane. Just give LL whatever is left and focus bot side, and then 𝘀𝘀, Ego with a nice AP AD combination to apply early pressure. And then LL is just going to complete the team whenever they fight for Dragon. So I think very standard bot lane focused mid jungle synergy focused style, looking at team fighting in mid and late game.
I'm hoping Vinny's reconnected. He did drop for a bit there. You back? Hello, welcome back. We were talking about Cerberus. Do you have any thoughts on this Cerberus lineup, my friend?
Nothing that Yulwei didn't really cover. I'm a bit less hype on Ego as compared to the rest of you, but I don't know if he's really going to be the player that is going to be a superstar carry or anything that like means, oh, all right, if things are going wrong, it's all on me. I mean, he might be like that, but I don't think he's a good enough player to do that. We've seen what happens when he tries to carry. It's either it's Lily or a bust.
That's fair.
Luckily, Lily is still
fair.
good, but so I definitely think, yeah, that this team could be higher than 5th. I just think at max potential, Flash has the higher potential. But that Cerberus probably does have the early split advantage in terms of pre-built synergy.
To give I'll be brief because we do want to move on to the top teams.
Yes.
In short order. But just to be brief, the reason I put Flash higher is I think they're very, very even. But I think Flash has proven that they have the infrastructure and the setup in terms of the organization to win. They've won 2 splits in a row. That doesn't happen just off of the back of your players. The players are a big part, obviously, but it doesn't happen just off of that. While Cerberus was set up to win the summer split and then completely collapsed, which shows a bit of weakness in the organization. That's what clinched it for me. I do think the team's super, super close. It could go either way, but that's what clinched for me. And Beast, thanks for subbing.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, second Palette as a thanks. Second Palette as a leadership duo should be able to get Flash working together at a good level reasonably quickly, I think.
Yeah.
But we'll see.
Yeah.
I think I don't disagree with the statement that their ceiling is higher, especially if 𝘁cie comes back to form. It's just too many question marks for me. This Flash team, I mean, maybe they blow me away, but 𝘁cie and 𝑖fkid, I really don't like what I'm seeing in terms of like late game carry potential, I have to say.
That's fair enough. But Cerberus and Flash, they are the middle of the table. The big thing to watch for them is which one of them will make playoffs, because it's only going to be one of them. If we're honest,
Probably.
There's really only one playoff spot up for grabs there. That's why I like personally. It's why I hate when we have 6 teams coming to playoffs. It's just so much less interesting. Flash and Cerberus are going to be 2 teams to watch because, as you always said, the difference between 4th and 5th is an ocean. So let's move on
just one last comment, Mary. Of course, this is going to be relevant on Friday So Cerberus's first week is against GLX, so Luxury, and SGB, while Flash's first week is against GAM.
Okay.
That
that's
is
rough.
really rough.
Rough start.
Yeah.
So Cerberus is probably going to draw first blood on this this little who's in the lead rivalry between Cerberus and Flash. That one's ooh,
Yeah.
that's not an easy week for Flash, and it's a pretty easy week for Cerberus, but we'll see. I'm keen. I just want games. I just want some league. I want some VCS. But let's move on to the big boys of the league. We have, in no order, we all have our top three as SBTC, Team Secret, and GAM. Let's start with GAM, because they're just GAM again. They're just GAMing it. Vinny, what are your thoughts on GAM? You have them second. Why do you think they're second? Why are they not first? Is a question.
Because we'll go into this a bit more, because SBTC in theory is just better GAM.
Yes.
What?
Sure, you have you have a bit of a downgrade on the top side, but you actually have an 80 carry. You don't have style just sitting there being a face. A man to fill the chair. That's my main reasoning as to why they're better than Secret. The top side difference is enough. Is actually just so much better than Secrets, in my opinion. Even though, yes, Slater is there now. Slater CBL bot lane is really impressive. It's just not. I don't think it's going to be bad enough. And if style continues to be disaster we saw last split, they still have Easy Love. They can just chuck him in, and Easy Love's fine. Easy Love can stand up to Slater enough that the top side can carry.
Maybe. I mean, I've always been.
That's my reasoning.
Yep, fair enough. Yulwei, I think you might have to have a little bit more to say, because you have GAM first.
Yes. And I think it's not even close,
through
honestly, on this spring split.
I knew you were going to say that, and I need you to justify it.
So, GAM has the best player in 3 of 5 positions of the league. There is top lane, jungle, and mid lane. So we have 𝘀cie, Levi. They have won 2 splits. They have been the best top jungle. They haven't won the last 2 splits, but they have been the best top jungle for a long time now, and we all know why. They, in my opinion, people look at DR1 against 𝘁𝗏 and say it's a downgrade from DR1 to 𝘁𝗏. But with Season 11 and the mage meta that we're experiencing right now, I think 𝘁𝗏 is actually a nice fit for this team. We can put 𝘁𝗏 on more carries now, maybe even some more Camille games, and let 𝘁𝗏 play second fiddle, and let's see what Levi is going to do. So I think top side did not get weaker for GAM, and we know it's the best top side in the league. And for the bottom side, I think B is a little bit of a better laner than Slay, so the lane should be more stable, which means all the 2v2 kills don't happen. Maybe B doesn't roam as much as Slay, which is a little annoying for the top side, but the top side should be fine on their own, so just focus on being fine in lane. B and Easy Love together should survive lane, even against the likes of Slater or Celebrity. And then you have the better top side. You have very strong team fighting. I think team fighting improved from the last season to this season with 𝘁𝗏 pickup, with B also being a very good team fighter, defensive team fighter, and the likes of 𝘀𝗀. So I think this is looking like a more stable, less aggressive GAM team, which sounds weird, but I think this is the time where they reconquer the throne.
It's an interesting take, no question. If you were coaching them, is it just topside?
Oh, I think they actually have so many approaches they could go for. I think all the players are quite versatile, so apart maybe from Easy Love and B. I think Easy Love and B are...
Style.
I mean,
B.
Easy Love is still...
their starter. That's the problem. Yeah, Easy Love is still on the roster.
I mean,
but
come on. Easy Love is going to be the starter after a few weeks.
That's not what we're hearing, though. Like, we have to go off what we know, and apparently they want Style to be the starter, which I think is a mistake. I think Easy
Easy
Love
Love
is so
probably
much
just
better
wants to
than
retire.
Style. Yeah,
I think Easy
feel
Love probably
like
wants to
there's been
retire.
talk of that
Would be
for
the
a while.
reasoning.
Hmm.
Yeah, true.
I mean, to be honest, I know Style was very disappointing last year, but if he's still a very good scrim player, which he has to be if he's being hyped by so many teams, I think this is the team to actually grow into your position, right? You have so many advantages to work with from the other sides of the map. You have a very stable, very good laning support. So I think Style, I mean, he might become a decent player in the split. So I'm still hopeful. Of course, the Style
Interesting.
thing is a little,
Take.
yeah,
I have the opposite opinion on that.
interesting. So
Because I don't think Styles' problems is mechanics. His mechanics are like, okay, he's not a world beater, but he's fine. His problem is his decision making. He was just like, how many times when we were casting Yulwei did it cut, like we were talking about like the mid lane or something, and then the camera would cut to bot lane, and Style is past the river in his lane farming with 3 people walking at him, and they've walked over 3 wards and he hasn't reacted. How many times did that happen? Like, 𝘀cie, their strength has never been their coaching and their strategical side. It's all just been, we're just mechanical monsters, we just kill you. Style needs a coach that can sit him down and go, now, do you understand why that was dumb? Yes, Dad, I do. Good, if you do it again, I'll hit you. And
that's a strong argument you present
he's not
there.
gonna get, like, that's not where Styles' weaknesses was, is what 𝘀cie
I mean,
gonna fix. He's still gonna do that shit. He's still gonna sit in bot lane, pushed way up. Levi doesn't know bot lane exists your way. He's not going to tell him to stop. He doesn't know the lane's there.
He's gonna go B. Why are they so fed? You have no deaths this time. What's wrong?
Exactly. B, you're not feeding. Why does the enemy ADC have 7 kills? Oh.
It's because we have an ADC. We have a what?
What's an ADC? That's my take on it. I don't think Style is the right choice for 𝘀cie. I think it's one of the most mystifying pickups I've ever seen. Like, I understand 𝘀cie has money problems, but I don't know. Get a rock. Put it on the share. At least it won't feed. That's harsh. It's not that bad.
So
Just
let me
make
ask
him play Spawn
you two the
Carpus every
question,
game.
how would you coach this team? So you have to work with Style now.
Yeah.
You're asking me?
No, both
Or
of
are you
you.
asking Vinnie? Okay, I'll let you go.
I
had my rant.
So I think Style, to make Style work, you actually have to, you have to play sort of the complete opposite of how 𝘀cie would want to play with their roster. So I would say you want to put 𝘀cie back on tank duty, make Cardi roam bot lane with Levi, and set Style up to carry. His early game mechanics are good. You can try and make those plays happen. Then at that point, you just put B on 𝘀𝗀 or 𝘀𝗀, even though they're kind of crap in this meta. Alistar can play bouncer and just try and keep the man alive. He's good enough that if you can keep him alive, he will put out damage. But at that point, you are just wasting that great talent you have in the top mid, because you have to funnel resources into making sure your AD carry isn't shit.
Yeah, that's why
I think that's your most effective way of playing.
Yeah, I 100%.
Unless he's greatly upgraded and you can't just stick him on Ezreal and leave him be. Well, not Ezreal this matter, but Jhin.
I mean, if Styles' brain has been upgraded over the offseason, we'll be wrong. If Style is suddenly a great ADC, then 𝘀cie probably wins the split. But we can only go off what we actually see. And what we actually see is that his game sense is, like, worse than mine, and I'm bad at League of Legends.
All my mind thinks of with Style is the 7-1 𝘁cie game where he still feeds it away after being 7-1.
No.
You forgot about that, didn't you?
The team put all of their eggs in the Style basket, and we were like, finally, he's going to prove himself.
Oh, that was such a horrible game.
And he entered the game away. Like, he was 7-1 on 𝘁cie. He was miles ahead. He entered it away.
Oh, that was horrible.
Stuck in my head with Style. And I think Vinny's completely right. In order to enable Style to not feed, you have to give him attention. You have to give him mid lane roams. You have to give him Levi covering him at the very least. And then
and maybe
what? Are you're
goes
trying
for
to
that,
set
but that
style up?
was-
You're trying to set style up instead of 𝘁𝗊𝗋? Like, even if you do set style up, even if you do get him ahead, you could have got 𝘁𝗊𝗋 ahead. The dude's arguably the best player in the league. Get that man ahead.
But you don't need to get 𝘁𝗊𝗋 ahead. That's also one of the things that makes him so special. He wins every single lane himself.
Yeah, you can get more ahead. You know, get him even
Yeah,
more.
but there's winning the lane, and like I
He's
have
like
a
a
CS
Fari.
lead, I have a bit of tower pressure, and then there's I've completely destroyed your entire top lane. Now I'm free to run.
6-1 Renekton, you know?
Yeah,
I can see the arguments. I think you're slightly over-exaggerating at how bad Style is. He's not great, but I think he can play the game as an ADC.
I just think he's the opposite of what Garm needed. I think his play style is possibly the worst fit for Garm if they weren't going to also get rid of Levi. And you're not going to get rid of Levi,
No.
right?
You shouldn't.
Like, I'm not. No, nor should you. I'm not saying they should have got rid of Levi. I'm saying, in order to bring someone like Style in, you would have had to get rid of Levi because his jungling style just doesn't fit with it.
yeah.
Or you're
They
not
should have
gonna
gone
get rid of
for
Levi. Levi's the best jungler in the league, except maybe Ego.
they should have gone for Almine or
Yeah, hell
someone
yeah.
like that.
Almine
That would
would've
have
fit.
been way better.
Yep. If you need a budget laner, get Almine. Or keep Easy Love.
Yeah.
Play Easy Love.
Well, I think the one thing they failed at last year, which was late game team fighting, or mostly against Flash, team fighting with decent team compositions, improved massively with 𝘁𝗏 pickup.
That's true. That's true. Cardi should be much more flexible.
One worry I have personally is Levi's champion pool, honestly. Because he's so used now. The last 2 years he played with 𝘁𝗊𝗋 and with Dia1. And both of them love AD champs in the mid lane. 𝘁𝗊𝗋, of course, Renekton, Kled all the time. Dia1, we all know, Jace and Tristana. So Levi is super used to playing AP junglers. And AP junglers are still super good, right? Talia, right in his wheelhouse, should be insanely strong. First picked all around the globe. But he might have to play more AD junglers as well. So let's see what he can bring to the table. We all know his Lee Sin. His Kha'Zix is... please no. His Kayn is...
Kayn?
Please never show that again. So...
On the other hand, there is a lot more. I mean, he can always pick up Graves. Graves is still strong. But what I'm actually leaning towards is tank junglers are sort of more relevant again. He can just play Sejuani. He's already shown a willingness to play Zzᵏ when Zzᵏ is not really.
True,
meant to
Zzᵏ
be
was
a
really
champion.
impressive, yeah.
So he can just fall back to these tank junglers. Gragas is an AP champion, but you're not really playing him for the AP damage unless it's the only thing on the team.
The thing about Levi and tank junglers is he's so weird. Because, yeah, he brought out the Zzᵏ when Zzᵏ wasn't meta. Or he was, like, at best, he was fringe meta, and he was really good on the Zzᵏ. And be like, wow.
Yeah, their
really
compositions were all
And
around
then-
engaged at that point. It was
Do you
very
remember
nicely
when
done.
he picked Trundle, guys?
Oh,
Do you
please
remember
no.
Levi's Trundle? When Trundle was the most broken champion in the game?
Yeah, it wasn't great.
Levi
think I
made
was
it look
watching
like
that.
he needed a buff.
I
was
remember him-
bad. It's like
My main thing with
it
Levi
feels
is
like-
Magi Sejuani.
to me, it doesn't feel like Levi
yeah.
plays like types of champion. Like you often say, like, oh, this player likes to play tanks. No, Levi plays like 7 champions. They're
Levi
not. They
plays
don't
Levi.
share any similarities. He just plays those 7 champions. And then it's like, well,
Yeah.
well, you play Zzᵏ. You can play other tanks. Nope. Just Zzᵏ. But he's really good on Zzᵏ.
Yeah, there are
I
concerns.
guess.
There are concerns with Garm, but yeah,
Maybe he can actually play Lilia this split because he didn't seem to at the end of last.
Lost them
hopefully.
the final.
Split.
Him not being able to play Lilia lost them the final. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
The fact that that wasn't a pick that they could contest was a ridiculous weak point in that final series. So hopefully he's learnt it. Everyone should play Lilia.
Do you want to go to SPTC or Team Secret next?
I think we should go to Secret
Let's go
because
to
they're
Secret.
the lower ranked one.
Yeah, I think the average
terms of
has them
averages?
lower. Yeah. Let's talk about Secret. Do you want me to start because I have
Yep.
them very high? I'm very high on Team
Go ahead,
Secret.
go ahead.
I mean, I have
No.
them the lowest. You two have them second.
It's true.
Did I have them? I thought I had them first.
Nope. SPTC
Nope.
first.
Oh, never mind. I didn't switch it.
Oh,
I mean, you can
So
make
our
the
averages are
argument
I actually don't remember which one I settled on, so we're just gonna go with the one that's on the graphic. Anyway, I think this Team Secret lineup is really good. I think 𝘀𝗀𝗃 is a good enough jungler that he will not be a weakness, which is good enough. And then they have 𝘁𝗶𝗶𝗀𝘀, which is just such a ridiculous bot lane. That bot lane is so good. They're just gonna kill everyone in the league. 𝘁𝗏 is like uber meta at the moment as well.
Is that a good thing for
Slayer.
Slater?
that's not a good thing. That's not a point in their favor.
When he has CBL, it is because CBL's just gonna play Thresh every game
That's fair.
and
I don't think it. I don't think it matters if 𝘁𝗏's meta. CPL's gonna play Thresh every game.
True. True as well.
Exactly. CBL's gonna play Thresh every game, and Slater is just gonna go in, just absolutely pump people. Artifact is still a very, very good player. He flies under the radar a little bit, but he can do a similar thing that 𝘁𝗏 can do. He's not as good as 𝘁𝗏, but I think he brings similar amounts to the team. Coded, I think he's going to come back to form. I have faith in him. I think Team Secret as an organization as well is super, super well run and will get the best out of their players. I just think this team's going to come together. I've just got faith. It's just a feeling.
Vinny, you have them lowest. Why? Third?
The top side of the map is by far the weakest of the three top teams. Their bot lane is insane, yes, but
I don't think it's
with the weakness of the top, by far, yeah. the top, yeah. Artifact.
and Legion are not that far apart.
No, but Artifact is easily the worst, and Coded seems to really struggle under pressure, which it's going to come down to for when you're trying to contest for that top spot. And
I'm going to say something
So-
very controversial when we get on.
those have fallen down. Let me guess. 𝘂𝗋 is bad. Be mad.
No.
DR1's
Continue,
bad.
Continue.
That's your controversy.
Continue.
No. So I think that's going to fall apart. Plus, Secret lost their main coach. So that's going to be one of their big issues. They're not going to have that same coaching staff. They're not going to have that same level in coaching. So things like choking at tough pressure situations for Coded, that's going to be exacerbated. We're going to have to see them completely change around their style of the team to play towards Slater. It's not going to work out as we want it. It's not going to work out all nice. If they do perform, I actually don't think it's going to be with Coded. It might actually be with 𝘀𝗃𝗃.
That's
That
bold.
might be that. I think Coded, he put up some good performances on a few champions, but again, when the going got tough, he just crumbled. 𝘀𝗃𝗃 might be a fresh rookie, could be a coin flip. I don't know. That's going to be my bold statement, though. It'll be their main success will be with 𝘀𝗃𝗃. If they go higher than third, it'll be with 𝘀𝗃𝗃.
Interesting.
Very bold.
It's a-
Yulwei, what are your thoughts on
I
things?
kind of agree with the both of you. So there's some very good points in both of your guys' argument. I am not very high on Artifact, I have to say. I agree with Vinny. He's by far the worst
All
mid
around
laner
weakness, yeah.
of the three top teams. Artifact, I think, is a little bit of a problem here.
I think it's by far worse than 𝘁𝗏.
Yeah, and DR1 as well, in my opinion. But yeah, Artifact has he's up and down a lot. He had some nice patches where he played some good champions, and then he was quite bad a few patches as well. I don't know. But I can also see the Slater CBL potential, and I think Coded 𝘀𝗃𝗃 are not that much worse than any other top jungle duo. I think 𝘂𝗃 and 𝘂𝗃 are pretty easily ahead of them, but 𝘂𝗋 and Yijin, I have no idea if they are. And my biggest argument for Team Secret over SPTC is actually not Team Secret or anything that has anything to do with Team Secret, other than they're coached very well. But SPTC is just a huge question mark for me. I think SPTC might have a higher ceiling. Not quite sure on that, but I think in spring
definitely has a
split,
higher ceiling.
I'm not sure I agree with that. We can argue about SBTC soon, but I think in spring split especially, Team Secret is going to place higher, more synergy, higher floor, I think, than SBTC. Ceiling, I'm not sure.
Yeah, I agree with that. Definitely higher floor. The SBTC floor is like 6.
Yeah, it's really low. The SBTC floor is really low.
Really bad.
Really low.
SBTC's floor is a basement. Their floor is terrible. But I have faith in SBTC. Like, I have a chicken flying around me right now. Yeah, I mean, I think the Team Secret thing, when we're talking about our top 3 teams, we kind of want to go into a little bit more detail. Something a bit fun that we thought we might do is, if they were in another league, let's say Team Secret starts in the LCS, where do they come? Vinny, you haven't been watching LCS, so I'll go to Yulwei.
Yeah.
Where does Team Secret come in the LCS?
Let me look at the LCS teams again. They do not beat Team Liquid or C9, that's for sure.
I beat 100 Thieves.
I don't think they beat 100 Thieves either.
100 Thieves has actually been looking really good.
Though, it's actually an interesting matchup, I think, because FBI and 𝘀cie are...
TC's here.
FBI 𝘀cie is the biggest strength of 100 Thieves, and they outlane almost anyone in NA. So if Slater and CBL can get back to their very best form, 100 Thieves doesn't really have a strong mid laner, right? So mid lane is not that great of an advantage there.
Oh, but top lane.
Yes, but someday...
I think someday just Shreks.
I mean, yeah, I agree with that. But we've seen someday against bad NA top laners, and even though he gets a 30 CS advantage, it's most of the time not enough to bring his team ahead. So I think Team Secret would lose to 100 Thieves in a series, but it would be competitive if Slater and CBL get back to their top form. So probably around there somewhere.
So
I'd
the important
say.
question is,
4th, maybe 5th.
do they consistently beat TSM?
I mean, who doesn't?
At this point, TSM's coach, TSM's coach is a solo queue team. Really, let's be honest. They're five pretty decent players that just have no synergy.
We
Yeah, I
obviously
think
don't want to go in depth about a North American.
Oh, yeah,
TSM's
of
got to
course,
have a
of
bad
course.
split.
Yeah. I think about 5th.
Yeah.
I think
yeah, I think that's fair.
What
EG
about the
also
LEC?
consistently smacks them. They could of course go lower as things like CLG.
I think
they-
EG is actually a good matchup, I think, for TS. Honestly.
I think when it comes to that, it will be just macro and coaching that makes them kind of on top.
NA macro.
And EG.
XD.
Yeah, NA macro. We're VCS, man.
VN macro, what's that?
Hey, EG's coach is Artemis, and they've consistently beaten Artemis in the VCS, so I don't see a problem here.
Oh my. But let's Vinny, who is your most underrated and most overrated player on Team Secret?
On Team Secret?
On Team Secret.
Underrated, probably DNK. I mean, it's very hard to say because a lot of these players are very rated. I would probably say most overrated, just coded by sort of default. Like, he's rated very well, but it's either him or Artifact, and I think a lot more people are down on Artifact than they are.
That's fair.
Coded.
Yeah.
So that's all I can really say. I think most of them are rated pretty well, but
I actually think CBL's a bit underrated.
Yep, I agree with that too.
CBL's really, really good.
Especially in the scene. I'm not sure if he's underrated for our fans, for VCS English. I think we have talked him up so much that people actually like him now. But in the scene, I think he's kind of underrated. So, yeah, I agree with that.
yeah, fair.
Yeah, from what we can gauge of the scene. Obviously, we don't speak Vietnamese, but yeah, people don't seem to be particularly high on CBL, while I think he's actually really, really good. But let's move on to the big chickens, who have averaged out to first in our rankings, because me and Vinny both have them at first. SBTC, the chickens are here. We're riding those cocks all the way to the top. Vinny, why are SBTC first?
Because better gum. Slightly gets upside, sure.
Gum with a bot lane.
I actually have a bot lane. Gum with a bot lane. Yijin and 𝘀cie𝗰𝗶𝗹𝘀 are the, of course, massive question marks. Yijin especially, because we didn't see him last bit. But from my understanding, Yijin was not a gameplay issue. Yijin was not a gameplay issue. It was external factors that meant he was benched, etc., etc. And 𝘀cie𝗰𝗋, also due to external factors, didn't actually want to play for Gum. to my understanding. So
that's the biggest thing with
if these teams are on, if these
is
two
𝘀cie𝗰𝗋
are
gonna
on
give
a
a
team
shit
they
this
actually
year?
want to play for, if they're actually on a team they want to play for, they will perform to what we expect from them. Like 𝘀cie𝗰𝗋 will go back to spring where he was just heads and shoulders the best mid laner. Of course, yes, 𝘁𝗏 improved in spring summer, so maybe it wouldn't match up, but 𝘀cie𝗰𝗋, yeah. I think 𝘀cie𝗰𝗋 will come back to try and be easily as good or better than 𝘁𝗏. Yijin, I think, will still be on the same tier as like Levi and Ego was last year, because if he's actually playing to win, I think that can help set up 𝘂𝗏 to let him do 𝘂𝗏 things, and we know what peak 𝘂𝗏 can be. And then Celebrity is actually the perfect AD carry for Slay to just piss off and go gank top lane.
Yeah.
So I think it's, in theory, a very good fit together. Of course, it could all collapse, and then we have to deal with chicken carcass. But
Rotten chicken.
in theory,
to add on to it, because I also have them first. I think I agree with you. I think they complement each other really, really well. There are some huge question marks. Like 𝘂𝗏 is always a question mark, but I think certain events in the off season, hello Garm, have put a bit of a fire in 𝘂𝗏's belly. Like, can we imagine how hard that guy's going to go when they play against Garm? Like, I think they're going to struggle to stop him physically assaulting someone on the stage.
And how hard it's gonna end when he plays against the best player in the league, unfortunately.
𝘂𝗏 against Garm might solo kill 𝘁𝗏 and then actually stab him. That's how angry this guy's going to be when they play against Garm.
You mean get solo killed by 𝘁𝗏 and then stab him?
No.
𝘂𝗏's champion never leaves the fountain. He just runs across the stage and starts belting on Garm.
Fly kicks someone, just goes monster on them. Like, that is the big thing. 𝘂𝗏 is a huge question mark, because the eternal problem with 𝘂𝗏 is he's a really good player, and then he overextends and is very immature in the way he plays.
Oh,
just dies and instantly leads away. That's a big problem with 𝘂𝗏, don't get me wrong. But I think this is the kind of split where I think he finally gets it together. I think this team has all the pieces. I think 𝘀𝗰𝗋 was the second best mid laner, and he didn't give a shit. He played Summer Split, not getting paid, and just like, get me off this team. I hate this. Get me out. And he was the second best mid laner in the goddamn league. Well, he didn't care. Now SBTC is going to pay the guy.
Hopefully.
I think they're going to be... Well,
hopefully. They're going to pay him in chicken.
Sounds good to me. You can pay me in chicken.
It's an upgrade.
Yeah, it's better than nothing that we normally get. Feel free to subscribe, yes. But yeah, I really think this team's going to... I think, as Vinny said, Celebrity is the kind of ADC you can just leave alone, and Slay can just go do Slay things. I also think Slay is not that much worse than Palette in terms of best support in the league. I think Slay is really good.
I think very different strengths. Slay's better mechanically, but Palette's just...
Excuse me, what did you just say?
What
the
I think the opposite.
Holy shit.
You think the opposite?
I am really low on Slay. I always have been. I don't like Slay.
You are super low on Slay.
I don't like Slay.
I don't know why.
No, look, I think from what I saw last year, Slay was doing more mechanical stuff. Granted, that's because Palette was just going, I'm Yumi every game. But But I mean, Palat has mechanics. That's not. I'm not saying he doesn't, but I think he's generally a more of a global voice sort of shot caller type, whereas Slay's much more. I'm gonna go make this out play.
Interesting.
I'm gonna go make this play.
Yulwei, tell us why you hate SBTC. Why are you breaking all the chickens' hearts?
Okay. I think SBTC would probably win the league if the league was a competition where every single position would play 1v1s till one player wins. And then you average out the points, then SBTC wins. I think they probably win that, because their players are all very good. But are they a team? I think they have the very, very famous problems of super teams. I don't really see where this team is going to go. I think their champion pool issues are extreme.
How do you say that and then say 𝘀𝗰 is good? How do you say that and then say 𝘀𝗰 is good? I don't get it. That's true of 𝘀𝗰.
Fair enough.
This is the perfect super team. They have a lane that they can sacrifice.
Okay, wait a second. Okay.
That is exactly what you want.
No, let your way finish.
I don't think it works like that. But so. First of all, I think champion pools are a huge question mark, and I can't overlook this question mark, because 𝘀𝗏, time and time again, has shown us he can play certain champs very well, he can play certain counter matchups super well, and then he just has 0% win rate on all the other champs, which was exactly the case in the last split. He had 3, 4, 5, maybe 5 champions he was super good on, and then he tried 5 other champs and had 0-1 games between the 5 of those champs. And some of those, for example, were tanks. Tanks on pretty good champions right now. So that's a big question mark for 𝘀𝗏. Moving on, 𝘁_JIN, I have no idea what 𝘁_JIN is going to show up. He's only 20, I just checked, so he's probably still got it. I'm a big 𝘁_JIN fan, so I'm actually hopeful to see him return to his very good form. Olaf is in the meta, Nidalee's in the meta. I think that 𝘁_JIN is probably going to thrive. So not that much of a problem there, but he hasn't played in a long time in the team, so it's gonna be difficult to reintegrate. And then 𝘁_1, big champion pool issues. Big champion pool issues.
I disagree.
Really?
He's not a team where he gives a shit again. He didn't play anything on 𝘀𝗰 because he didn't give a shit. The dude is good on majors. He can play majors.
He's good on Syndra, yeah.
He's also good at Nico. He's also good at a number of other champions.
I'm sure he does have Orianna in his pocket. He just never needed it on 𝘀𝗰. Every mid laner has Orianna in his pocket.
I mean, it could be possible. You can say you expect him to also be able to play all these champions, but I haven't seen it too much. So maybe it's just he didn't want to play them on 𝘀𝗰. Maybe he and Levi just wanted to play AD AP all the time. And now he's going to be a mage player and be amazing at that. Possible. His mechanics are insane. His solo kill numbers, his solo kill count, insane. I'm a little bit hesitant to. I think this season is going to define 𝘁𝗏. Is he really the best mid laner?
Also, Yone is super meta. I know you hate the champion, but you know, he's being picked.
Yes,
he's super meta.
He's being picked by quite a lot of players around the world.
Yeah, Yone is.
It's just that Perks is bad.
Not the greatest degree of success, but fair enough.
Let's be real. It suits 𝘁𝗏 to a T.
That's fair.
So if anyone's going to get success with Yone in VCS, it's 𝘁𝗏.
Yeah.
So that champion being strong is only a boon.
And for Celebrity and Slay, they are not the greatest bot lane when it comes to 2v2 pressure, so they are not going to be able to get 2v2 kills against the likes of 𝘀𝗰, for example. They're probably just going to win lane, but not by much. So especially for the SBTC against 𝘀𝗰 matchup, I just don't see SBTC winning, because their style is all about being superior in mechanics and having better laners. Then 𝘀𝗰 just has better laners in all the positions but bot lane.
I would disagree with that on
2v2 bot. Why couldn't
I also disagree on not being a purely. I also disagree on being a purely individual mechanical focus. Yeah, they have really strong mechanical players, but they also have Violet. They also have a coach, which is more than a lot of the VCS teams can,
they also have
can say.
He has never done anything.
They also have 𝘀𝗏.
To that.
But they have Violet. They can definitely turn around. And look, even if your gameplay strategy is just camp for 𝘂𝘃, 𝘂𝘃 is one of the better players to camp for.
Oh, for sure, for sure.
I mean, it worked on PvP,
I
it worked on
I
𝘂.
also just disagree. I think their bot lane's really good. It's arguably the second best in the league.
I didn't say their bot lane was bad. I don't think their bot lane is going to 2v2 kill, though. I think their bot lane is more the scaling type, the impact the lane, the game through other means. They are not CBL and Slayer
Yeah, and
in terms of 2v2 pressure.
yeah, and I think that's what you want for the team composition.
But it's bad
that
for the
you build.
matchup
You
against
want-
γκ. That's what I was arguing. Because γκ's biggest weakness...
I don't think it matters against 𝘂. I think
Interesting. I see where you're coming from, because against 𝘂 you want to exploit their bot lane.
Yes.
But can't you exploit it in the other way, where you just say, okay, we're gonna camp for 𝘂𝘃, which will nullify 𝘁𝗃. Like maybe we can't put 𝘁𝗃 in the dirt because 𝘁𝗃 is just too good.
But doesn't
we
Levi
can
𝘁𝗃 win
nullify
against
him.
𝘁 and 𝘂𝘃?
I think they go even. Like
I think
I don't think that goes heavily one.
I don't
way or
think
the
the-
other.
I don't
if
think
both
the
teams play
gap
around top
is
side,
big enough.
yeah.
I
But
think
then-
it's
and then
too
you
matchup
say-
dependent.
And then you say, okay, let's say Levi 𝘁𝗃 wins that by a bit, because they probably might win that by a bit, but they're not going to smash it. And then we have an AD carry in the late game. Like, hello, we have an 𝘂𝘃. You have Style, who is just going to int.
But γκ also has the Orianna player, while Dia1 plays as
Again,
Jace.
Deal.
Nice.
But Dia1,
Do you
like,
want to
I
play
know
Central?
he
Do you
hasn't-
want to
he
play
hasn't-
Nico?
He hasn't shown, like, the Orianna. So let's say he can't play Orianna. He can play Azir. Dia1 has shown a really good Azir. You guys seem to be forgetting this. He's played 3 or 4 games of it. He's good at it.
Let's see.
Yeah, I think it was in spring.
He's got like a
He's
4-1
got a mean
record. I think.
Azir. He's got a really mean Azir. He
Makes
can
sense.
definitely
Mechanical
play-
champion. Makes sense.
Yeah, exactly. It
Yeah.
fits him. I'm not surprised at all. Like, he can play these champions. And I just think having a bot lane matters. Like, okay, they don't get 2v2 solo kills, and then Celebrity actually impacts late game when ADCs are needed to cut down the big tanks that 𝘁𝗃 can bring out.
I don't know.
I
With
think
with
the
Style, they can
SBTC
probably get 1v2 solo kills.
Okay.
The SBTC 𝘂 matchup, I don't think is solidly in SBT's favor. I'm not trying to argue that, but I think it's close. I actually think it's the hypest matchup we have.
Oh, it's so exciting. It's so exciting.
It's great. That game, that's the new Flash 𝘂, in my opinion.
Yeah,
That's
Dia
just
and
a great
𝘂𝘃
team.
against γκ is such a great matchup.
Every single
Oh,
time
that's
SBTC
spicy.
𝘂 happens, make sure you're watching the stream, because it's going to be an absolute cracker. And it's hard to call. I just think SBTC, I edge them out. It's close, though.
Fair.
I'm just... Also, part of the reason I have 𝘂 low is I think Levi is the most overrated player in the VCS.
Okay.
By
Okay.
far. I think he's the most overrated player in the VCS. Not that he's
Interesting.
bad. Not that he's bad. He's not. He's very, very good. He's probably the best jungler in the league. Ego's the only one that contests that. But people have this impression that Levi is God's gift to...
I mean, I agree with you mostly. He's my
yeah.
overrated player for γκ as well. Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
so overrated. Like...
I mean,
he doesn't carry that team. Levi doesn't do it. It's 𝘁𝗃. People look at that 𝘂 team and go, look at Levi getting 300 farm. And it's like, yeah, okay, Levi's really good at doing that. And then you actually go look at the team fights, and it's 𝘁𝗃 making the space.
I still
Not
think
Levi.
Levi is insanely good.
Oh, of course. No, he's still the best jungler in the league. But he's not God's gift to League of Legends.
Yeah.
He's not just like walking in and being like, I win.
He's a
every
little too
jungle matchup."
stubborn,
He's-
I think. Especially when it comes to champion picks. No Lilia was such a detriment to his team in summer. They could have won this title.
Yep, I maintain. If he plays Lilia, which everyone knew was going to be a power pick in the playoffs, if he plays Lilia, 𝘂 wins the split.
Yeah, probably.
But he
Probably.
refused to do it because... And he, like, this is like... He said this on stream. It's just like, why aren't you playing Lilia? I don't like her. Suck shit, dickhead. You're a professional player. Like, it doesn't fucking matter.
Hello.
Pick the
Okay.
fucking champion.
I remember a certain European player who didn't play Super OP champs because they didn't want to. Look where he ended up. Kicked off of Schalke.
Yeah. Like, I think that mentality is really bad. I think Levi's gotten away with it in the past because he was just so much better than everyone else. And he's, again,
Yeah,
I don't think
2017 Levi was
he's
just
fucking,
fucking
he's a
amazing.
fucking
So-
incredible player. He is still a fucking incredible player. But he's not hundreds of meters ahead of everyone now. Like, people are within touching distance.
Can I ask you who
Okay.
the most over and underrated players for SBTC are for you?
For me?
Well, both of you.
Do you want to go first? Because I've been...
Tier 1 celebrity.
Which one?
Tier 1's most overrated. Tier 1's most overrated. Because Cardi's the best mid laner. Shut the fuck up. You're wrong if you think otherwise. And Celebrity is underrated because... Dude, Celebrity's fucking good, but he's just completely ignored on this team because of all the other names. That's basically it.
I actually think Zeros is the
He
most
was
overrated.
one of the
I
best.
think Zeros is
Yeah,
the
fair.
second. Levi
I think
only
most
just
people come
edges
around
out.
on Zeros being mediocre.
I think the reason I think it's Zeros is because people still think that Zeros is he's just by far the best top laner in the league. It's like, he's not.
He's not. Hello. If you watch the league, please.
But like, the All-Star voting happened for the VCS,
Yeah,
and
he's still
Zeros
super.
got like 75% of the
Yeah,
vote,
it's ridiculous.
and it's like, 𝘀cie is right there, guys.
Yeah, but
He's
all,
so like,
also
again,
voting
Zeros
is
is great,
stupid.
but 𝘀cie is better.
So my
Yeah,
most
but
overrated,
also voting
as you
is
probably
for
can
fans.
anticipate, is
Not for
Slay.
fans.
Slay,
course.
I think you're so down on Slay.
I think Slay is massively overrated. I really do not know why people think he's such a great support.
Where do you rate him among supports? Like third,
Where's
Where do
our
you put him?
support list? Let's see.
I imagine.
We
Colette,
have
better than
CBL.
Lisa,
Who's better
Rona
than
P,
Colette and
B.
CBL? Rono P and B.
No. I'm just listing all the
Oh,
supports.
okay.
𝘀cie, Slay, Palette, CBL. So CBL is a big question mark, of course, right? But when he was on form, he was better than Slay, in my opinion. Palette, CBL, probably. I think Ron is better.
On Bard, yeah, sure.
No, I think Ron had an
On everything
insanely good
else,
split at the
nah.
start. And then B and Slay are probably around the same level, I'd say.
I heavily disagree. I think Slay is pretty.
I think Slay
clearly
is...
better than
Slay got away with having almost no champion pool whatsoever just because he was on GUM, and no one focuses the GUM
Comparing
support.
that to CBL, who plays Thresh.
Ah,
And Blitzcrank.
fair enough.
Thresh
Don't
and
forget
Blitz.
Blitzcrank.
Like, you take the hook away from him, and he's like, oh, man.
And
Well, I also
sometimes
think CBL
Nautilus.
is better on his mains than Slay is on his, so, you know.
Maybe. I think you're very... I mean, I can kind of see Slay being overrated, because some people rate him higher than Palette, which I think is not earned. I think Palette has earned his place as best support. But I think you are also a bit harsh. But hey, we'll see.
Maybe,
right?
yeah.
Maybe
Yeah,
if he
let's
shits
see.
the bed, then you look smart. In terms of most underrated, I agree. Celebrity.
Probably.
People sleep on him. Like everyone just kind of just people. I still see people being like, yeah, Slater's clearly the best ADC, and then you have 𝘀cie and Celebrity. You don't have 𝘀cie and Celebrity. You have Celebrity, and then you have 𝘀cie.
Might even be Yijin. I'm not sure how people actually rate
Yijin's
Yijin
still-
coming in.
Yeah, true. I think it's just.
I think I wouldn't say I think Eugen's fine to leave. I wouldn't want to put him as overrated or underrated, especially not underrated because
Yeah,
he
it's
hasn't
hard to
played
know
full split.
because no one really knows how to rate
Completely
him. Right?
reasonable to go.
I mean,
What is it?
the problem with Yijin is when he last played, he was super underrated.
Insanely
man-
underrated. He was so good, man. He was.
He had one of the best splits I've ever seen. He was the
Wow.
best jungler in the league for that split, and people were still like, yeah, he's average. Like, no, he was outperforming Levi. Do you
Yeah,
know
it
how
was
fucking
really good.
hard that is? Do you know how hard it is to beat Levi? Yeah. But I think SBTC looks really good. They're gonna be fun. I want SBTC to succeed because if that team is succeeding, we're gonna have some good games.
Look,
yeah,
I
I think it's very
I just wanna-
unlikely for them to completely fail. I don't think there's.
I also just want to send the chicken team to MSI.
Chicken, go!
MSI, good joke, dude.
All right, G2, now for your greatest challenge, the chicken.
Chicken.
You lost to Buffalo, now lose to chicken.
True.
Yeah, let's
So-
hope MSI happens.
Are your predictions for winner of the split the same as the power ranking?
No.
No? Oh, interesting.
No. I do not think 𝘀liche will win the split.
Who will win the
think-
split then?
Secret or Garm. Probably Secret.
That
Are we
would be
talking
interesting.
end of regular season or playoffs?
As in win playoffs.
Win playoffs. Yeah.
I think yeah, that's my thing. I think 𝘀liche, I still back them to come first in the regular split, but I think best of fives and playoffs formats, that's when they get exposed. I think they can just brute force their way through best of threes, the whole split, and then get exposed to best of five.
I don't know. If it was best of ones, I'd be more on that train of thought. But I don't honestly think best of threes and best of fives are that different in terms of mindset.
Oh,
It's more the multi-week playoffs.
interestingly enough, we actually had very
Sure.
different, or not very different, but we actually had different playoff winners than split winners last year. Both times, right? Gum won both splits, but lost both playoffs.
Yep.
Yeah, in the grand finals, but so I think yes. I think if SBTC clicks, they're just gonna click, and it's gonna be their tournament. Garm could, I mean, they could easily lose the finals to someone like Garm, but or Secret if they end up performing. But I think yeah, I think it's pretty much as is written for me.
Fair enough.
I think
Okay, so
Gum wins against Secret in the final 3-1.
well, let's pencil that and clip that. If it happens, we need to get Yulwei to predict.
So
the
yes,
lottery.
so in other words, yes, Yulwei does think his predictions are going to come true
Yes, I do.
because he's got Garm Secret.
Well, I mean, let's sort of begin to wrap it up, and we'll keep this brief. I'll give Garm to Yulwei and 𝘀liche to Vinnie. Where do they finish in the LEC?
Oh, right.
Start with you, Yulwei. Where does Garm finish in the LEC?
The LEC. Oh, we're
Oh,
upping the bar.
Yeah, well, yeah, the two better teams. You know?
Let's see. LEC.
Third, because LEC only has two teams. No.
Two? Who's the
Oh,
second
sorry,
Fnatic
second team.
side?
Ooh, that's such
Definitely not last.
Yeah, not last, that's for sure. Probably playoffs, but where in playoffs? They don't beat G2. They
Obviously.
don't... Do they beat Fnatic? No, they don't beat Fnatic. They don't beat Rogue? I don't think so.
I mean, they do
Maybe
beat-
fourth.
They obviously beat G2. They beat me.
Oh, right. They actually get the 2-0 against G2. That's
Exactly,
that's
they
pretty
get the
helpful.
2-0
That's
against
pretty
G2.
helpful.
Big.
So I'd say
Huge.
fourth. Behind G2, Fnatic, and Rogue. Then fourth team, probably.
Yeah, I think with what last year's Worlds exposed on like fourth seeds. I think putting them like fourth is pretty reasonable. Sticking them behind Rogue. I mean, Mad Lions could beat them.
I think
probably,
Schalke is
but,
probably
in a
more difficult than Matt, honestly.
maybe.
Depends. Are they on a miracle run or not? Like, is it the end of the split or?
Yeah, true.
Yeah,
I think top lane.
They're gonna have to resub Julius out and put him back in.
I think Kiai and Zeros smash Armored though, so probably easier to play against Mad Lions than against Schalke with Broken Blade, who I think is better than Armored. I'm not sure.
Is this where we go bold and we just finally say what we've all been thinking? 𝘁𝗏 is the best top laner in the world.
Oh, of course. Easy.
I mean,
JDG is right there.
Oh yeah. Oh, I can't go against Zoom. Zoom is the best player in the world, so can't go against that.
I mean, you're wrong, because 𝘁𝗏 is the best player in the world. No, I mean...
Your LMS dreams are dead, Vinny. It's over.
No, shut up. 𝘁𝗏 is still great. He's not the best player in the world, but no, he is great.
Now you have to be a
He's still a good
TSM
player.
fan. You're a TSM fan. You have to support Sword
This is the yeah. I have to support TSM. I have to support EDG. Fucking awful. It's terrible.
Hate most.
I have to support G2 now as well. Stop picking up players I like.
Ugh, G2 fans. Ugh, no thank you.
I know, it's awful.
G'day, Yulwei, you want to show everyone your chair? Anyway, I think we can wrap it up now. We've been going for a fair while. I think we've set our expectations for these teams pretty well. Do we have any final comments, lads?
BTS, change your name, please, for the love of God. I do not want to do this. Your only plus side is I can say BTS is bad and then bait a bunch of K-pop stans into hating me and maybe following me on Twitter.
Ooh, true. We can get good social media engagement just by just talking about BTS and just tagging.
Just baiting K-pop stans, and that's all. That's your only benefit to me right now. Just go rebrand back to %. Get that fucking logo back, because that was clean as hell. Not whatever this weird fucking disaster chicken thing is. We have a good chicken. We don't need a shit one.
Exactly. We don't need two chickens. We've got a good chicken. We don't need a shitty chicken wing.
Oh man.
But anyway,
that's all.
Let's
That's all.
not
Fuck you,
keep
BTS.
going. Can you tell it's late in Australia? Anyway,
No.
Yulwei, do you have any final comments before we head off?
I think Spring Split is actually more interesting than Summer Split, apart from the international implications. I love only 4 teams going to playoffs. I hate 6, so this is going to be one of the most insane playoff races, especially between Flash and Cerberus, and maybe even 𝘀𝗏𝗃 coming in. Maybe even someone like BTS, if they go back to %. So I think playoff race, once again, is going to be super, super interesting.
Also, Summer will have much more of an idea of how these teams face up
agree.
against each other, so it's not quite as, ooh, 𝘁𝗏 could be first, SBTC could be first.
Ah,
Okay,
that's true.
𝘁𝗏's
That's true.
first.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. And by then, 𝘁𝗏 will have dropped style. Anyway, with that, another episode of the EveryWei podcast is done, the 2nd of 2021. The next time you see this channel light up, it will be the opening of 2021's VCS Spring Split. You'll be surprised. There might be some differences on that stream when you do come tune in. Things are going to be a little bit different this year. We'll have to see how it all goes. Thank you, everybody, for joining us so much. If you do want to join our Discord, do scroll down. The links are below the stream, as is Twitter. All of that good stuff where you can get more VCS information and follow along with all of the content our community is putting out. And, oh boy, there's a lot of it.
Yeah.
So, thank you for
it's
joining
really
me,
scary.
Vinny. Thank you for joining me, Yulwei. My name has been EveryWei, and with that, we will bid you a good night.